Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me for another special health focus class. I'm just muting everyone because I forgot to do that, so there we go. Excellent, so let's get started, and I will just check that that message wasn't someone desperately trying to get in. No, it's okay. Good, all right. So someone's coming in, sorry. Always the way. All right, so yes, let's take right hand in a fist, please, and left hand straight, pulling back the thumb with feet together, hands together, and we press forwards. Very good. 学上好, and you can say 老师好. So let's begin with a little warming, just loosening and releasing the joints and warming up those muscles. So let's feed into the four corners, please, of your hips. And breathe. Now, if there are ever any movements that I'm asking you to do that you know you can't do for whatever reason, just don't do them. You can visualize a movement. So say, for example, you've just pulled a muscle in your leg and this movement is just impossible to do comfortably. So rather than just waiting until the next exercise, you can sit or stand or whatever is comfortable and visualize yourself going through the motions and visualize the feeling within the body at each stage of the movement. This is actually introducing the concept of Neigong into a Qigong exercise. Neigong means in the internal journey, the internal process of working with energy. So Neigong does not require any physical movement, but it does actually create a very similar outcome. It makes the nervous system respond and behave as if you were moving. So it's nourishing the tissues with energy, and it is giving you the same sensory feedback as if you were moving. So at this point, we are feeling our way into the four corners of the hips, one hip, one corner at a time. We're allowing the movement to be soft and gentle. The corners will naturally round themselves off, but you can do that even if you're not physically moving. So let's very gently change direction, please. So you would be thinking and feeling and breathing into each corner of the hips in turn, and noticing if there's any resistance, if there's any pain, if there's any clunking, or sometimes it'll feel that there's a barrier. Sometimes as I do this exercise, I feel a physical barrier, like something's just not connecting or not quite allowing the movement. And sometimes it will be more like an energetic barrier, that I can make my body do the movements, but I can't quite energetically connect, or the energy seems to skid away like a magnet being shown its same kind. It just goes, nope, I don't want to do that. So this exercise is brilliant, and I would encourage you to do it again and again. Master Chen, Grandmaster Chen, encourages us to do this exercise 500 repetitions in each direction every day. So that would take about 20-25 minutes. It's gentler than walking, but we want to introduce it gently. Just like standing practice, very few people in their first attempt at standing, or certainly at their second attempt at standing, would go for 45 minutes, having never done it before. You want to do it for 5 minutes first and build it up. Do you see what we're doing now? We're rotating, sending a little spiral down through the leg. Let's link the fingers and do a little bit of wrist rotation at the same time. And let's change direction. Now you may notice I'm not really pushing my ankle like this, because it actually breaks the alignment too much. We want to keep the alignment but allow the energy to flow through, like bamboo, rather than something that's brittle or very, very bendy. Good, shaking out On the other side, so we do a little rotation. Again, if you can't physically do it, visualize it, or do what you can of the exercise and visualize the rest. Very good. It's lovely to see a garden back there. Great. And change direction. Breathe. You'll always find one way is easier than the other. You may find that one side is easier than the other. That's perfectly normal. We're looking to address the balance, so keep at it, keep chipping away. Good, okay, so let us do turn out one foot and step forwards and square up. And we just very gently work the legs. Now, before we started recording, we spoke about a concept in Tai Chi that is the core and the center of Tai Chi, and that is all movement comes from center. So two massive principles we want to keep of the structure and move from center. So actually with this movement, by the look of it, it's the legs doing the work, isn't it? But actually we want to think of it as a turbine in the center of the belly, and it's circulating. It's not that we're doing some weird and wonderful physical manipulation of the center, but rather think of the energy swirling in that direction. Good, change feet. So again, you could do this movement without actually, well, you could do the exercise without doing the movement. You could think of the swirling, you could think of how that would affect the muscles, how it would feel, how it would make you breathe. You visualize it, and it actually then stimulates the system to strengthen. It gets the energy flowing in the same way. Good, step up and relax down. Of course, you don't just think of it as in, oh, that's a thought. You actually visualize it in real time as you breathe. Think, now it would feel like this, now this would happen, now this would happen, now this would happen. And you viscerally feel the movement through your body like a living memory. You go through it in your awareness. Good, all right, let us begin a little bit of silk reeling for the 24. So what we can easily do is break movements down into the waist down, as in walking practice, Tai Chi walking, and the waist up that we often call silk reeling. It's all silk reeling really. But let's go through our first handful of moves. So just to begin in shoulder width and level, we float up through the top of the head, the chin slightly down and back. So we're going to do a little bit of Wu-Ji practice to just calm ourselves down. Some of you may find it weird to do Wu-Ji in the open stance. It's just a variation. Try it out. So we're breathing, we're releasing, we're listening. If you had a mirror, this would be the perfect time to check your alignment, that the head is straight, that the shoulders are level, that the hips are level, that the feet are symmetrical at least. And if you have a side mirror, you could actually turn your head and check that you're not leaning either back or forwards. Just check and return to center. Ideally, we would want to stand in Wu-Ji for a couple of minutes at least. Just calming, decompressing, and letting go of the urge to get going. but instead surrendering to that deeper sense of stillness, of calm. Let's find all 10 fingers and very gently lengthen them down. So we're just engaging with each fingertip. And we want to breathe and let go and feel for their presence. And make sure that you feel an equal connection to all 10 fingers. Notice the sensations that occur as you bring your awareness and that little bit more energy into the fingers. At the same time, we want to keep the top of the head floating up and the chin slightly down and back. So technically, folks, your head is slightly angled forwards. Really feel that beautiful triangle. The top of the head and the tips of the fingers are drawing away from each other. And now, do you notice that the fingers have changed slightly from that little tingling feeling? They may even feel a little bit swollen now, as if they're sort of sausages. And the reason for this is we are activating our qi. By lengthening up through the top point of the head, the Bai Hui point, we are awakening our entire energetic system. And likewise, by lengthening through to our extremities, we are waking up that energetic map, if you like, that series of motorways all the way to the very tips, to the very terminals of the body. So this one practice, Wuji, not even standing practice, but Wuji, is essential to get the most out of our Tai Chi practice. The longer you stand in Wuji, the more your energy will build. You will start to feel that warmth, that swelling in the fingers. And it's not a condition. This is what we're looking for. This is a building up of qi. It's ready to go. We are filling our tank. And if the extremities are full of energy, everything else is as well. So Wuji is not centering as such, it is flooding the body with qi. It is waking up every cell ready to work. Good, so now let's do a bit of work. We're going to start with raising the water. We float up, breathing in. Feel up the back along the arms to the tips of the fingers. Breathing out, relax your center and let the center draw the arms gently back down. So we want to be aware of all of the joints and keep them nice and soft and fluid. The center releases and that draws the arms back down. Feel to the extremities on the in-breath. And relax, let your center sink and draw the arms back down. Honestly, I have seen really quite advanced groups talking with masters about this move when we've got any questions, and we get lots of questions on complex moves, but you'd bet your bottom dollar one of the most advanced students in the room asks about this practice. Because just like every drop of the ocean contains the ocean, every movement in the form contains Tai Chi. It's all there. And this is a very tricky exercise to get really well done. It's deceptively complex. And that's what happens. The simplest exercises often contain the most complexity. Good, so let's relax down into our center once more. Let's take right hug ball. Keep the shoulders relaxed. We don't want to involve the shoulders in any of the arm movements. The shoulders want to slope and relax and be very calm, very still. They are a kind of point of no visible movement, though the movement is flowing through them. So think of the forearms as doing the visible movement. So there's your hug ball. We're going to squeeze it a little bit more, slightly more turn to that side, to your right, squeezing the arms in and down, and then separate. Good. We separate until the arms are extending forwards from the shoulders. So we're not going wider and we're not staying narrower. We want to have a comfortable space underneath the arms. I often see this. Can you see the difference? That's closed. Give it some space. Release and turn the center, which gathers the arms. Turn the center a little more, and that squeezes the arms in and down, and untwist, and there's your separation. Give it space under your arms. Relax to center, turn center. Good, a little bit more of a turn to squeeze in and down, and untwist. Relax to center. All movement comes from center, so that means that if we have just done a movement from center, we must return to center before we do the next move. So there it is. Relax to center and turn. A little bit more, squeeze in and down, and separate. And relax to center. So I often refer to the relaxing to center as drop sit. But it's not that you're bending your knees. It has nothing to do with bending your knees, though the knees may bend. It is a feeling of returning home to your belly. Think of the energy returning. Good. And hug ball, keep turning, squeeze in and separate. Feel to the tips of the fingers. Relax to your center and turn. Turn a little bit more, squeeze in and down and separate. Feel to the fingertips. Relax to center. Drop sit. Hug and separate. Drop sit. Good. So the drop sit might seem to suggest that you are literally dropping, that you're going like this. You're not. You're letting go of the energy, letting it flow back. Like water, you're opening the gates and allowing gravity to draw the energy back down to center. Relax. One more time. I made a little audible sigh there, but I don't want you to do that. I want it to be internal. Good. Now let's make a smaller hug ball. Around, it's really dandian sized. So as if your dandian that's inside your belly is sort of projected out in front of you. That's the size. So cradling the sort of lower belly shape and size. Now the lower arm sweeps up as you turn center. Then we untwist and bring the arms down. All movement comes from center. Often I see people moving their arm and then turning their center. No, that's not what it's about. This is your lever. This helps you power your movement. So it's not okay to turn your center and then move, and it's not okay to move and turn your center. The center drives the arm by keeping the connection, and then untwist, relax to center. Good. Let's do a small hug ball. Keep the connection. So feel like your body is held together by elastic bands. So as you turn, everything moves together. There is a little bit of a stretch, but we keep the feeling of connection. We keep our structure. Relax to center and repeat. So we hug ball, turning the center. Think of it like the compass point, and your hands are the pencils. Keep the structure, that's the rest of the compass. Okay, so up and down. Can you imagine your body as a compass? Drawing a circle, squeeze. up and down. Now the reason for all this is not just to make your life difficult, but actually to give you strength simply by your structure. So this will help your muscles grow strong, but if your structure is aligned, it's effortless, effortless, just like popping the lid off your tin of paint with a screwdriver, as opposed to trying to prise it off with your fingers, which is impossible. Never manage that. Good. Relax down and squeeze. Good. Up and down and squeeze. One more time. Ready? White crane opens its wings. Make sure the arms are in front of your body, like so, and not like this. You can see the difference? Yeah. Good. Old cat washes its face, please. So again, a bit of coordination, but if you don't feel you have coordination, don't worry, relax. Just turn your body and let the movement flow. And if you don't get it right the first 100 times, do it another 100 times. Relax and breathe. Ah. Good. We want to keep that little bit of space under your arms and keep the shoulders absolutely relaxed and heavy. No movement in the shoulders. The movement simply flows through the shoulders. Good. And let's do one more into brush, knee, push, step. So we keep going to this measurement. I'm reiterating this because it's important. We point to the elbows because that gives us our measurement. If you were to not quite get the measurement, you would lose that vital forearm length that is giving you the ideal position in a fight scenario. If you're actually engaging with your opponent, you want to be able to neutralize their hand and neutralize their elbow, because they're both very scary things to come at your face. So we want to have that measurement. Continuously think point to your elbow. Okay, so let's see if we can go through our brush, knee, push movement. So we look past the upper hand, we press the lower hand down, and that draws the upper hand in towards the ear. And as we do that, we look forwards. So we press down and look forwards. We untwist, and there's your block to the knee. And we keep turning the center a little bit more to bring one hand round a wee bit further, still in front of body, and the other hand pointing forwards. We repeat to the other side. So we point to the elbow. We press down and look forwards, we untwist and keep turning the waist to press forwards. Repeat, up, down, around and forwards. And at the end of the movement, there's this little drop sit. So again, we're returning to center. Why? So that we can move from center. So we turn. We point to the elbow, we press down, look forwards, brush knee and push forwards with a little drop sit. Now the drop sit in this position is more expressed by that slight release of the heels of the hands downwards. I'll show you it from the side. Notice that there's still a curve. If you can notice that, there is a curve, there is not an angle. Can you see the energy is blocked? It is locked when I push my heel of hands down so much that there is an angle. That's no good, it's not comfortable, it's not strong. So we brush, knee, push, and at the end of the movement, the heels of the hands sink a little. But can you see now there is still a curve? There is still a curve in the positions, and therefore the energy can flow freely. As soon as I over-egg it, it becomes a lock. I've actually locked myself. And can you imagine pushing someone's chest like this? All they need to do to lock you in such a case is to bow. If they bow, they're actually putting me in a lock, and I have to, I have to go down or my hand will break. So it's very important that when we practice, even though we're doing it for health, we want to stick with what is correct for the martial, and therefore we give ourselves the best strength, the best health, and if we ever did have to use it, we would know how. So relax to center, a little drop sit, the heels of the hands release down. Continue, please. Point to your elbow, press down, look forwards, around, and press forwards. The drop sit is just incorporated at the end. Do you see my lower hand is still in front of the body? It doesn't disappear off to the side. Yeah, keep going, please. So point to the elbow, press down, look forwards, brush round the knee, press forward, drop sit. And repeat. Up, down, around, drop sit. 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 Well done. Now, my video is actually the camera is slightly lower than I am. So at this angle, it probably looks like my hand is at nose height, and that would be okay, but it's actually more at throat and chest height. This particular movement, if you see from the side, I'm pressing at the chest. So this is really a chest push that could be turned into a chest strike. The drop sit could actually become a Fajin move. I would not recommend it because you could actually kill someone by doing that kind of abrupt strike to the chest. It would in fact become like a chest compression, and we don't want to endanger anyone's lives. Even though we're talking in the hypothetical, please don't push anyone anyway. But from the martial perspective, it is good to know the dangers so that we can avoid them, basically. Okay, but it's all there. All the scary martial arts stuff, the stuff that could save someone's life or endanger someone's life, it's in plain sight. We might not be aware of it. Please don't freak out about it. It is just, it's like having a kitchen knife. You have to be aware that you might cut yourself if you use it incorrectly. So that is your brush knee push step. Good. Let's just do a few more repetitions, nice and quiet, and relax into the flow. So here we go. Ready? And good. Make sure you give yourself a little bit of space from your body. That arc around the knee, it's away from the body. Let me show you the difference. What I don't want to see is this. See what I mean? You see it from the side. I want to see an arc. Think of protecting your groin, basically. That's what it's doing. And when you're doing the movement with the legs, it's protecting your knee. Good, so rest, please. As the name suggests, brush, knee, push, you are protecting your knee. You're protecting your leg from kicks, from attack. So as you're stepping forwards, if you're in a deep stance, you are literally brushing around your knee as you go forwards. I rarely go deep stances unless I'm performing, and even then, not much, to be honest. So when you're in a medium stance, your hand's still a wee bit above the knee, but it's giving you that protection. And you want to sort of skim the field of energy rather than going too close to the knee or going too close to the belly. So keep it nice and full. Keep that energy full. What we did at standing practice or Wuji practice, filling the energy, filling the fingers, feeling that sausageness, that expansion of energy into the fingers. You may notice as you do that, your hands will bounce away from your body quite naturally without you carrying the arms. As you practice and as the energy builds, you naturally expand because your chi, your life force, is expanding. That's what we call peng. Peng means a natural buoyancy, a natural expanse. And as we practice, we want to maintain this peng throughout. So we're always giving ourselves that bit of space under our arms, space around our body. You do not see in Tai Chi these very tight, closed movements that everything is folded in and squeezed tight. Tai Chi doesn't work in that way. That's sort of Wing Chun, at least my interpretation, because I don't know any Wing Chun moves. But in Tai Chi, we always have a little bit of buoyancy. But it does not mean that we do this. And I've known really good martial artists who've read books on Tai Chi and say, oh yes, I'm told you have to have an orange under each arm. And they're literally pushing their bodies into the most interesting positions because they're misinterpreting it's subtle. We want a buoyancy, we want a space around our body as we move. Everything should be this way as opposed to this way. So there's a little bit of zing without exaggerating. Good. Okay, let us look at So Hui Pi Ba, play the Pi Ba. This is also sometimes referred to as play guitar. It's gentler on the digits than actually playing the guitar. I have arthritis, so I can't, it's painful to hold a guitar, let alone play. So we have our brush knee push. We're going to pull one shoulder back as we turn the waist, and that retreating arm starts to sink, the other arm starts to rise, and again we do our drop sit, and this time the drop sit is more visible. We release and relax down to center, and again the wrists sink down. The lower palm is facing up. The upper palm is at 45 degrees, and then we can silk reel it, we can pull the other shoulder back, cycle the hands and sink down. So it's like the downward strum of a guitar. I appreciate it's not actually how you play a guitar, but it's the aesthetic. That's what it looks like. Ready? So we pull the shoulder back, cycle and relax down. Pull the shoulder back, cycle and relax down. So play the Pi Ba is very soft. It is a yin move. So it's not a pull down. It's not a yank. It's not chai. It's more like lu. And if that didn't make any sense to you, chai means to yank. Lu means to roll back or smooth down. So this is a yin move. It is soft. It is like if someone's leaning into you, rather than pushing against them, you're just encouraging them to go towards the floor. And again, shoulder back, cycle the arms and relax down. Shoulder back and relax down. Now it's not just the shoulder, you're turning shoulder and hip. We're feeling that connection. Shoulder back. Relax down. Good. One more time. There's a famous ancient Tai Chi poem about practicing So Hui Pi Ba on a bridge. There's been so many stories of individual warriors being very, very brave and taking on armies of people, like one person taking on an army. But just like a pass, if you're on a bridge, a thin bridge, no one can get past you if you stand your ground. So there is this expression, someone standing on the bridge in So Hui Pi Ba. And over where we live, In Manorhamilton, there is a park nearby, and it has a really incredibly powerful river that's always like rapids, you know, it's always very, very full of energy, and there's a beautiful ornamental bridge over it. And one day I thought, I'm going to do Sohway Piba on this bridge, and I stood on this bridge and I practiced with the rushing water. Felt there was lots of energy all around, beautiful nature. My husband crept up behind me and flicked my ear because he knew it was so noisy, and I was so absorbed in my practice that I wouldn't feel him coming, and I was so disappointed in myself. I'm like, what kind of martial artist am I? I didn't know he was coming, but it was very noisy. I was very absorbed. Yeah, need to work on that. Anyway, that is your Sohway Piba. Good. How are you feeling? Shall we give our legs a little bit of love now for a wee minute, and then we will return to put arms and legs together. So let us remind ourselves, so far in the form, with all of those moves, we have stepping forwards, we have half step, and empty stance. Basically, that's it. So let's revise stepping forwards, half step, and empty stance, and then we'll look again at our Repulse Monkey with the stepping back. Okay, so for this, you can do whatever you like with your arms. You can have them floating like you're on top of a ball or a buoy. You could have them at waist height. I wouldn't leave them dangling because you're not engaging the structure, but whatever works for you is fine. So let's float up, please, through the top of the head, chin slightly down and back. Take a deep breath and calm down. Again, we want to dip back into Wuji. Allow yourself to release and to settle. Feeling down into your feet. Feel the feet connecting with the ground. Let your toes spread. And notice, is your weight evenly across your feet? Now, actually, number one importance, we just want to be aware of what is happening. Because if you don't know, how can you work with the system? So just tap into what is happening. Then we want to release and guide our system into as best alignment as we can and the best position as we can while letting go. But if you feel it's less than perfect, join the club. It'll never feel perfect, but in time, you'll learn to let go and guide your system into good alignment. And it'll start to feel like a friend rather than the enemy. So we'll do what we can. We let go, down into the feet, down into the floor. We lengthen those fingers down. See if we can engage that energy again just by listening. Feel for all 10 fingers. Breathe and let go into them. And when you're ready, we float into a comfortable position. Now, we're going to start with the left foot stepping forward. That's Tai Chi tradition. We fill the right foot, empty the left. I'm going to do mirror, so I'm actually stepping with my right, but we step. Relax the foot down, glide forwards from underneath, and glide back. Lift the toes and turn. Relax the foot down, and again glide forwards from underneath and come in. Now, if you are convalescing from something, then just take it easy. You can keep high stances, you can take small steps. Just do what you can. Forwards, back, turn. Foot down, forwards, and in. Good. And standing practice and walking practice have something in common. Actually, all Tai Chi. It doesn't matter how many times you've done it before. It's bread and butter practice. We just want to keep practicing because it tunes and fine tunes as well as strengthens. Good, and rest. Well done. Let's do it together one more time. You can go to the back of your space. I'll do it with my back to you. Ready? We lengthen up. Sigh the tension away. Find your fingers, point them down. Release belly, hips, knees. Float up. Left foot. Well done, and rest. Good, take a breath. And calm. Excellent. So you know the half step. We're really going over stuff we've already done, but it's always good to take little looks at these things to make sure that we are actually doing what it says on the box. Okay, so your half step is literally taking half a step. So say we've just done our separate wild horses mane, our weight is forwards. Think of the size of your stance and cut it in half. So we keep the weight forwards, we take halfway, bring the foot in, put the foot down and feed the weight back, and that guides us into our empty stance. So in the form up to now, we have literally done 2 empty stances. We have the link between separate wild horses mane and white crane opens its wings, and then again for our So Hui Pi Ba. Good. Okay, so let's do our silk reeling, please, for step back repulse monkey. So we're just drilling today over various silk reelings and stepping practices. So we'll do the arms, we'll do the legs, and then at the end we will put it all together. Okay, so step back repulse monkey begins with your So Hui Pi Ba. And this is with your left arm extending forwards and your right hand underneath the elbow, as so. Okay, so if I'm facing you, I'm going to flip it round. So this is your left hand, this is your right hand. Let's take So Hui Pi Ba position. So remember, we don't ever want to reach behind us. It's not reaching behind. You're turning your waist and reaching to your corner. So it's 135 degrees maximum. So that's 90 degrees plus 45 degrees. So you're reaching to the corner of your own little personal square. You're never reaching to the back of the square, you're reaching to the corner. And you'll know if you've got it right because it should feel comfortable. And if I were to run my hand around your upper back, it should feel smooth. Do it wrong for me, as long as it's not going to hurt. Bring your arm back. Can you feel the W in your back? The wing bones create this kind of crenellation. When we overextend, the back becomes bumpy. We don't want the bumps, we want it nice and smooth. So try again from play the Pi Ba. We release down and palms face up. Now do that again, please. As your arm swings down and up, both arms are rotating at the same time. Remember, all movement comes from center, but another little chestnut Tai Chi rule is if one thing moves, everything must move. Okay, so it's no good to swing the arm and leave the front arm doing nothing. It can't do that. In fact, the original name of this step was not Repulse Monkey, but twist upper arm. So actually this movement is named after the twist of the front arm turning to face up as you reach back. That is what will sort out people's grip. If they have gripped your wrist, you turn your waist. You turn your waist, or rather you turn your center, and that turns the upper arm, which means that they can't keep hold. So as we turn the waist to look, well, to bring the arm to 135 degrees, both palms turn to face up. Let's try it. Play guitar. And as you start to rotate inch by inch, the palms both turn to face up. So at this stage now, when you have turned, your one hand is forwards, one hand is to the back corner. Both palms should be facing up. I don't know why, but I think in images, and I often think of all those Egyptian god headdresses with, you know, a big sun, and they have a sort of moon shape underneath. So this is the sort of moon shape. This is both palms facing up. Okay, now you look forwards, and that draws the hand that was at the back towards your ear. Similar to what we did before with brush knee push. And we keep turning to bring the palms past each other like a little crocodile mouth. Do you see that? Like a little crocodile mouth. Sending one hand forwards, the other comes down and back towards the body. Remember, it's not against the body. We want that buoyancy, that space away from our body. And we repeat to the other side. So we swing, both palms turn to face up, arrive at the same time, look forwards, draw in towards the ear, in front of the mouth, palms pass. Repeat, swing to the corner, in towards the ear, in front of the mouth, and palms pass. Now, if you just let your head turn naturally as the arm swings, you'll be able to see with your peripheral vision past both palms. So that's the idea. We want the palms to be in your awareness and your awareness beyond both palms. So you could think of multiple attackers here. Someone in front, someone to the corner. You want to keep your awareness open. Don't leave one limb unprotected. Breathe. Shoulders remain absolutely relaxed, heavy down by the sides. Good. Keep your awareness open and rest. Well done. So that's step back, repulse monkey. Okay, Gao Zhen Har in Chinese, in Mandarin. Okay, so let's look at the footwork. Now, our footwork for this movement is a bit playful. There's a lot going on. We want basically to always feel comfortable. And in order to feel comfortable, as the foot goes down at the back, the toe touches, the heel will want to roll in. So we're not just putting our foot down, back, the heel will want to roll in. But what I've noticed in class, actually when I say to people, bring the heel in, they get confused, they think about it, they overthink about it, and everything goes, they struggle. Whereas actually if I say put your foot down, they bring the foot in, they bring the heel in. So actually just do what's natural, the heel will probably come in. So just watch for a second, please. So the foot always comes through the middle, but then we step out to the corner. We put the foot down, you can see the heel comes in, and as we turn, the front toe turns. As we reach the arm, we lift the front heel. So there should be a feeling of extension to the tips of the fingers and to the tips of the toes. We draw in, hand and foot, step, heel in, front toes in. So the heel comes in automatically, hopefully, but think heel, front toes. So we fix the toes each time. We don't leave the toes like this. We don't leave the toes turned out. Okay. Why do we not leave the toes turned out? If you've ever seen martial artists at play, they don't tend to do this because this just broadcasts, come and kick me in the golden target. We want to protect the groin pretty much at all costs because it's an easy target if we don't protect. So if we turn the toes in slightly each time, it creates a natural protective space. It's less easy to get to than to do this. Can you see the difference? So each and every time we want to turn in the heel at the back because it's easier to balance, but that means we have to fix the front foot. You can even turn the toes in slightly, not just straight, but in slightly, and that creates a much more protected area for that. Yeah, okay, so let's give it a go. We're just going to do it, we'll do the legs and then we'll do arms and legs together. So as I say, if you're recuperating from anything, just if you can't physically do it, visualize it. You can kind of what we call in dance marking it. So what does marking mean? It means that you're giving a little bit of the physical, enough to engage that neigong, to engage the internal process without necessarily having to do it full whack. Just be careful though, when you do practice by marking, you have to make sure that you don't then end up, when you're doing it fully, marking. Because it does happen that people are like, oh yeah, well, what are you doing? It should be full. So let's give it a go. Just the legs, please, if you can. So we start in our wuji, we lengthen up. We calm down, feeling into the floor. We get ready, and for now just keeping the arms in a comfortable position. We're balancing on the front foot heel, point the toe down and draw in. So the center turns and it draws the legs in. We touch to the corner, relax down, heel comes in, toe comes in, lift the heel and draw in. Touch, heel and toe, lift the heel, come in. Gently does it, listen behind. So we have to be aware, use your peripheral vision, but use your senses as well. And your spatial awareness, well done, and rest. Good. Let's finish it off by putting the arms and the legs together. I've worked you quite hard physically this hour. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Let's give it a go, arms and legs together. So we're going to stand on the right this time. Let's take a breath. Sigh the tension away. Standing on the right, release the left and relax down onto the heel. So feel the whole body stretch, fingers and toes. Draw in, look forwards, step, heel in, feed the weight back, toes in, hands pass. Reach, draw in, touch, heel, toes. Feel the extremities, draw in, touch, heel in, toes in. Last time, reach, draw in, touch, heel in, toes in. Well done. Take a breath. And relax down. Very good indeed. Okay, we're going to finish off, please, with a little warm down. You can stand or sit if you like. Rub your hands vigorously together. We're going to lift up and gently pat. Now, sometimes patting doesn't feel good for whatever reason. So if it doesn't pat, if it doesn't suit, you can just gently stroke down. Sometimes I get over enthusiastic and say the wrong thing. Last week I managed to say bromelain when I meant ibuprofen. Bromelain is gentle on the stomach, folks. Ibuprofen, not so much. Okay, so we can pat if you like. We could do the patting, which is lovely, but it might not feel right for you on the day. So you could also do a stroking motion as well. What feels good? Even some days we might feel hypersensitive, and even stroking may not feel great. And there's always an alternative. I've learned this over the years. So what we could do is a little chi wash, which is literally that you're skimming the energy of your body without actually touching your body at all. And it works very nicely. In fact, in some ways, it works on a deeper level than touching. So play with your warm down and see which way works best for you. Let's go down the arm. So you could pat down. That might not feel great, or it might feel exactly what you need. So let's try the stroking version, where we're just gently stroking down and away. Good, make sure you get all the surfaces, and let's try the chi wash. So we're feeling for the connection, feeling as if you're listening for the sensation of your hand near your body. Good. And notice which one feels best for you today. Be aware that it will vary. Some days you will really want that little bit of impact, that percussion, that feeling of being physically excited. It helps the energy to bubble. Some days it's just not right, and actually stroking is far more soothing and far more conducive to warm down. And some days the chi wash is the most exquisite thing, or the only thing that you can actually comfortably do. So see which one works for you. And remember that each day it may actually differ. It may feel very, very different. Some days the chi wash might feel completely blah. And other days it's the most glorious thing that you could do. Good, so shake out please. We're going to finish with showering with energy. Again, back to basics, but what a glorious exercise. In my early days doing Tai Chi, I went off to America and I didn't have a teacher for a year. I thought, how am I going to cope? But I did this exercise 30 times a day and I felt amazing. So simple, and yet every drop contains the ocean. We take a deep breath, we float up, we breathe out, we release and relax gently down. Feel your breath and ride the wave, and feel the gentle resistance, as if you're pressing down on layers of duvet, on layers of comforter. Deep breath, float up, and release, relax down. I love this exercise because it is energizing and relaxing. It balances itself. It's great to do to motivate you first thing in the morning, get the energy flowing. And it's actually a beautiful exercise to really calm you down last thing at night. It's got it all. A deep breath. We'll do 3, 1, 2, and on the third breath, we're going to hold our breath at the top. Deep breath, breathe in. Press your fingers into the sky, press your toes into the earth. Think of sealing in your good energy and all that good work you just did. Then we release, we breathe out, and we guide the hands to center. Let's hug the elbows gently in. And feel the touch of the hands flowing into the belly. feel your energy is stronger. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much. Let's take right hand in fist, left hand straight, pull back the thumb. 学生好. You can say 老师好. Thank you very much, everyone. Well done. Keep practicing, and I look forward to seeing you next time.